Hey, I'm Rob Weiser, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about hardcore persuasion secrets. Specifically, I want to show you 6 black belt tactics for turbocharging your sales copy. Now, a quick recap on who I am. I'm a former Hollywood screenwriter and a published author who discovered online marketing 10 years ago. And once I discovered how to sell products online and sell my ebooks and other things online and generate passive income, money around the clock on autopilot, well, once I discovered those secrets, I never looked back. Now, I've been a member of ClickBank.com since 2008. ClickBank.com is the platform that I use to sell my products and to offer them online. And since 2008, I have created more than 40 different digital products in a variety of different niches. And I've sold many millions of dollars worth of these products while traveling and living around the world. Now, I believe that copywriting is the essential skill for becoming highly successful with online marketing. So I want to share some of my favorite persuasion secrets. Now, these principles are very valuable whether you're writing a long-form sales letter, whether you're writing a video sales letter, or even if you only need to write a short piece of copy. If I only had one paragraph to describe a product of mine and to offer it, I would try to use at least one of these principles, probably a few of them, just in that one paragraph, because they are that powerful. Now, persuasion is what effective copywriting is really all about. It's the art of persuasion in print. That's what copywriting is. Using words and language to convince your prospect, the person reading your sales letter or watching your sales video, convincing your prospect that you are offering the solution they've been looking for. Even if they weren't consciously aware they needed it, your offer will be so convincing and so persuasive that they will realize, you know what, I need this and I need to buy it right now. Now, I want to talk to you now about a fantastic, very short book, which you can download to your Kindle or iPad. It's called the One Sentence Persuasion Course by Blair Warren, who is a master copywriter. And he distills the whole art of persuasion down into a 27-word sentence. And the sentence is this: people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. So to break that down, a good piece of sales copy will encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears. Allay means to put to rest or to calm down. Confirm their suspicions and help them throw rocks at their enemies. So we're going to break these down and give examples. These principles are the essence of many sales letters that have generated millions upon millions of dollars. And when used skillfully, these principles are so powerful, they can literally control the masses. Hitler used them and nearly conquered the world. Cult leaders like Jim Jones and David Koresh used these principles and commanded such loyalty that many of their followers willingly or even eagerly died for them. Now, these same principles can be adapted in an extremely powerful way for selling products while doing it ethically. We're not talking about building cults or trying to conquer countries right now. We're talking about writing highly persuasive sales copy. And by the way, all of the great public speakers use some, if not all, of these principles. So first of all, according to that 27-word sentence, you want to encourage their dreams. Now, when we're young, our parents often discourage our dreams for our own good, right? They try to steer us towards more reasonable goals in life. And as children, we accept this. But what if later in life, someone were to come along and speak to you in a way that encourages your dreams? Not the dreams of your childhood, the dreams you have now as an adult, because they're probably much different than when you were a kid. I don't know too many middle-aged men who are still really dreaming of being a fireman or an astronaut or a rock star, but they have other dreams. We all still have dreams. Maybe you want financial freedom so you can escape the rat race and travel the world or give your family a better life. And for these folks, I have products that show them how to achieve this by setting up an online business. And when I write sales copy for these products, I am speaking to them about their dreams and I am encouraging these dreams. Now, for others, their dream as an adult might be to meet their soulmate and fall in love or maybe start a family. I have products that speak to these dreams too. Now their friends may be telling them they're crazy, you're too old, or there's no good men out there, all the good men are already taken. But in my sales copy, I'm speaking to their dreams and I'm encouraging them and I'm telling them, you can have this. Let me show you how. Now it could be a simpler dream, something you would love to do, but you aren't sure how to do it, or you think it's maybe too difficult. For example, maybe you want to speak a foreign language. Maybe you want to have six-pack abs. Maybe you want to play a musical instrument. Maybe you want to earn money with your own blog. Or maybe you want to cure an annoying condition like joint pain or arthritis that's been bothering you for years. All of those topics, by the way, and thousands of others have been the basis of very profitable digital products. But whatever niche you're in, you can use this persuasion principle, encouraging dreams, to bond with your prospect and let them know you had that same dream or that same goal. And you struggled just like they did, just like they're struggling right now. You used to think it wasn't possible. You tried, you failed, but then you discovered the solution, which is your product, and now you're going to share it with them. And you're encouraging them every step of the way by telling them how easy this actually is once they learn the right method, which is, of course, your method. Next, you want to justify their failures. Now, it's human nature to want someone to take the responsibility off of our shoulders and to tell us that we are not responsible for our crappy situation in life. It's not our fault, okay? So in a piece of sales copy for a weight loss product, I might say something like, if you've never been able to lose those stubborn extra pounds from your belly and keep them off, I'm here to tell you it's not your fault. You've been lied to, you've been misled. I might tell them how the food industry has them addicted, deliberately addicted to high sugar foods, or the weight loss industry, the $90 billion weight loss industry, or whatever the figure is, they want to keep you on the treadmill or on the hamster wheel, buying product after product, trying out different diets that really are designed to make you fail because these other diets are impossible to stick with and don't give you lasting results. Or maybe I'll mention the phony gurus who are filling their heads with all the wrong information and telling them they need to do grueling exercise programs in order to lose weight and keep it off. It's not true. You've been misled. Okay, and now my sales letter will expose the solution, which is my product, which approaches this from a different, perspective. If it's a product for relationships, for women, as I mentioned a moment ago, I might say, if you're still single and you're almost ready to give up hope that you'll ever meet a good, honest man who will love you forever, it's not your fault. You've been lied to. And I can mention the mainstream media, the women's magazines like Cosmopolitan, where the cover always says something like, 7 sexy ways to make a man fall in love with you forever. Well, how well has that info been working out for you? You're still single, you're not happy, you're only getting older, and your friends are in happy relationships and you're not. But it's not your fault. You've been misled. How about the Hollywood movies that paint this completely unrealistic portrait of true love, and where two people fall in love and become soulmates and live happily ever after? Well, the real world never really works that way, does it? The real world's a lot messier and a lot more complicated, and there are a lot of really bad men out there. Well, in this short video, I'm going to show you 3 ways to spot and meet the right guy and have him fall madly in love with you and feel completely addicted to you for the rest of his days, or so on, Now, I'm not saying this is a healthy attitude to carry through life. Accepting personal responsibility for your screw-ups and your problems is one of the keys to improving yourself. But when you tell someone who is struggling why their situation is not their fault, it's a very powerful way to make them feel that you empathize with them. And empathy is one of the keys to good copywriting also. Now, when it comes to persuasion, when you assure others that they are not responsible for their problems and you blame it on a common enemy, you gain influence over them. And they will definitely want to keep hearing what you have to say. Next, you want to allay their fears. Now, when we're in a state of fear, when we're really scared about something, it's practically impossible for us to concentrate on anything else besides, getting out of that dangerous situation. We're certainly not going to want to listen to a sales message. But what do we normally do when someone is afraid and we want to get their attention or calm them down, we tell them not to be afraid. Don't be afraid. Or we say, just trust me, don't be afraid. And does that work? No, of course not. It doesn't work. It's not good enough to just say, don't be afraid or trust me. You've got to work with the prospect throughout your sales copy until the fear turns to trust. And you do this, you eliminate the fear and you build the trust by presenting evidence and proof that your method actually works for people. You also offer support and encouragement, and you tell your story to build empathy and rapport and more trust. Now, when a prospect is watching your sales video, chances are they aren't in a state of fear, but there's probably some anxiety. They're often worried that their problem can't be fixed, or they can't get the results they desire. They're concerned because their problem feels unique or complicated. It's a very common thought among prospects. They think, well, this might work for other people, but my situation is more difficult, it's more complicated. It may not really be, but that's how people think. And when you present your solution to them, your product, they have every right to feel skeptical. This is why through your sales copy, you must alleviate and hopefully neutralize their fears, doubts, and concerns by countering their objections. Countering objections is so critical to closing deals and making sales. And objections are basically doubts they have in their mind. So more on countering objections in a moment, because this is how you will neutralize your prospect's fears. Now, right now, let's quickly go through the final two elements of Blair Warren's 27-word persuasion sentence. You also want to confirm their suspicions. People love being able to say, I knew it. It gives us a feeling of superiority, and this is how cults will often operate. They confirm the suspicions of their followers by telling them things like, your family is out to sabotage you. Your family doesn't want you to succeed. They don't want you to be happy. You know this deep down. And the person will oftentimes think, I knew it. Their suspicions have been confirmed, and that makes them feel bonded to the cult. Politicians do this all the time to get votes, okay? They tell the crowds that the opposing party or the opposing candidate is the reason for their problems. The other person or the other party has an evil agenda that is keeping them down or trying to strip away their rights. And those who already had those suspicions, they get to say, I knew it. And this naturally makes them want to get behind that politician and follow them because that politician confirmed their suspicions. And the final aspect of that 27-word sentence is you want to help them throw rocks at their enemies. Nothing bonds people together like having a common enemy. And you may have heard the saying, everyone you meet is engaged in a struggle with something. Now, when two people find out they share the same struggle, it means they're battling against the same enemy, and this unites them. The struggle, the enemy, it could be a person, a group, an illness, a political party, or just a deep frustration towards something. And a good piece of sales copy will often explain why it's not your fault, and then it will establish the common enemy, the enemy both of you are struggling against. Here are some examples of common enemies and how to use this whole idea of it's not your fault. If you're selling a weight loss product, the common enemy could be the $50 billion weight loss industry that is keeping you on the treadmill with impossible diets and brutal exercise routines that give you results maybe for a short time, but they don't last. It could be the food industry, which is conspiring against you, keeping you addicted to these sugary foods and beverages, and even labeling some foods as healthy and diet foods or diet sodas. But the truth is they're misleading you. These so-called healthy diet foods are designed to keep you fat and keep you on this frustrating treadmill. If you are selling an offer that addresses a health condition, the common enemy could be big pharma. The mega billion-dollar, super powerful pharmaceutical industry, because they're interested in providing you with treatments, but not cures. If they gave you a cure, you would no longer be a customer. But if they treat your problem on the surface, you'll need to keep paying them for more treatment. And with this, you're confirming a big suspicion. A lot of people now feel that this is the case with big pharma. They also may suspect that the doctors and big pharma are colluding together. They're keeping each other rich with these treatments. And so You can expose in your sales letter the big lie about big pharma and what's really going on. And then you'll introduce your product as the solution. If you're selling an offer about how to find the love of your life, which is a niche I often go back to when I give examples, again, it could be the media. It could be the magazines, the TV shows, the movies that are giving you a totally false, delusional picture of what love is really all about and how love works and what men go for in a woman. If you keep following their advice, you'll grow old and lonely and you'll always be single. Let me expose the truth about what makes men fall in love. And then I'm going to sell you my product. How about the survival niche? This is a big niche, otherwise known as the prepper niche. These are people who are convinced that the world as we know it will be collapsing in the near future, and they are stockpiling and learning various survival techniques to be ready for the big crash. So here, the common enemy, it's pretty obvious. It could be the government. It could be the bankers, the deep state, whoever these powerful forces that are conspiring to crash the economy, take away everyone's guns, keep everyone under control and bleed all of their money out of them. Well, here's the truth about what's really going on. I'm confirming a big suspicion with these people. And I'm going to give you this solution, this product, which will get you ready for the coming crash and keep you and your family alive. Now that you've aligned yourself with the prospect, you'll need to overcome their objections in order to close the sale. We talked earlier about eliminating fears, putting the fears to rest. Well, in sales copy and when you're selling something, oftentimes the prospect is not in actual physical fear, but they are feeling anxiety because they're experiencing objections. And so in order to close the sale, you've got to neutralize and counter all of the main common objections. Their brain is paying attention at this point. They're watching your sales letter up till now, so something is resonating with them, but you've got to counter their objections if you're going to make the sale. Their brain is looking for reasons to say no to what you're selling. Here is an example of a common objection you'll need to overcome. They're thinking to themselves, well, I've tried other solutions and none of them worked for me. Now you counter this objection by stressing that your solution or your method is like nothing else they've ever seen or tried because the technique or the method you're about to tell them about, it attacks the problem differently. Even better, come up with a cool name for a special magic method that your course is based around or a technique that you teach in your course. You don't need to explain the method and how it works. It's more of a teaser. But just by giving them the name of a very powerful sounding method, that can be enough to make the prospect think, wow, well, I may have read 4 other books on this topic, but none of those other books taught this technique. An example would be, I've got a product on how to get your ex back, how to get your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend back. It's actually a really great little niche. And in the sales copy, I talk about a technique you're going to learn in this course called the negative emotion neutralizer. And I just made this up. This is a technique that is so powerful, it will wipe away all of the negative memories and negative emotions that your ex feels about you, and it will replace those bad thoughts and memories with positive feelings and memories of the good times you shared together. And then, when I created the course, the actual book for this, I have a whole chapter called the Negative Emotion Neutralizer, and I figured out a pretty cool technique that basically, accomplishes this sort of idea. But that technique, as it's explained and mentioned in the sales letter, I think is a big reason why that product converts as well as it does. Another common objection is, well, my problem is worse or more complicated than other people's, You counter this with success stories, including your own, that cover a wide range. So if you're selling a weight loss offer, you don't want to only tell the stories of people who were very good looking and in their late 20s, early 30s, who were able to lose an extra 6 pounds using this course. I want to hear from those people. I also want to hear from people who were really in bad shape, who really had to lose a tremendous amount of weight. I want to hear from women, men of different ages. The problem is if you keep it too narrow, you're going to alienate a lot of your prospects. And when you tell your story in the sales letter, it should always sound as if you suffered with this problem or with this challenge worse than anyone, and you tried everything. So no matter how bad your prospect thinks they've got it, no matter how challenging their situation may be in their mind, you should make them feel as if, hey, if I can do it, I know you can do it. Another example from the men's dating niche here, the men's dating thing. I've written sales letters that basically say things like, you think you have it tough with women? In a moment, I'm going to tell you about the most humiliating, soul-crushing night of my entire life. And I weave a story in there that is totally mortifying. It's so embarrassing. And so the prospect feels, my God, if this guy could recover from that embarrassment and actually get good at this, surely I can too. And another objection is the prospect thinking, well, maybe this could help me. It sounds pretty interesting, but now just isn't the right time. And here is where you want to use scarcity to counter the objection. Scarcity means the idea that this offer is limited time. There's only a certain number of copies, or this price will only last for a certain period of time. You'd better act now. You are giving them a reason. You're pushing them off the fence to make the purchase, right? And you don't need to lie either. You could say something like, look, I'm selling 500 copies of this program at the current discounted price. But after that, when those 500 copies are gone, I may have to charge double or even triple. And this, you may or may not end up changing the price, but you're not lying. You're saying you may do it. Of course, you always can if you want to. And then you want to justify the scarcity. You don't just say, this offer will be gone from the internet soon. This offer could be gone tomorrow. If you're going to say stuff like that, you've got to give a reason why, okay? It could be pressure from some outside force, all kinds of ways to do this. You might say because your marketing team is insisting on it, or your marketing expert who you hired is telling you, you're crazy to sell it for this cheap. You've got to triple the price, So these 500 copies will be gone soon, and when they are gone, I may have to triple the price at the insistence of my high-priced marketing consultant. You may also just say, once this video goes viral, I'm going to have so many orders pouring in that I'm going to need to hire additional customer support staff to make sure all my customers get personalized attention. And at that point, I'll have to raise the price to cover these additional costs. All right, you get the idea? Another objection to overcome, of course, is, well, it's too expensive. Now, here, I never reveal the price of the product until I've done some price justification in the sales copy. So, as we're getting towards the back end of the video sales letter, we're probably 25 minutes in by this point, and so I'll say something like, you're probably wondering right now how much this incredible one-of-a-kind program costs, and I will get to the price in just a moment. But first, let me ask you, and then what I'll do is I will describe 3 or 4 things they will continue to waste lots of money on if they continue on their current path, which is doing it all wrong and not knowing the right method. So the idea here, you want to make them feel that not buying your product would be the far more expensive path. So with a men's dating product, I will say something like, you're probably wondering how much this costs. I'll get to that in a moment. But first, let me just ask you, and I'll say, how much do you think you'll spend over the next month, over the next 6 months, taking women out on expensive dates that lead nowhere, going home alone, feeling frustrated, disappointed? I paint this whole picture, and make them think, how much money are they going to keep blowing on not getting the results they want? I might say, how about going out to bars to meet women, bars and clubs? How much money are you going to blow over the next 6 months getting dressed up, going out, trying to meet women, and ending up with nothing to show for it except for a hangover and a big credit card bill the next day? I can also mention, you should know other guys are paying $1,500 or even $2,000 to attend seminars that teach information that isn't nearly as powerful and proven as what you are about to discover inside this program. And then after I reveal the low price, which is usually around $37 or $47, I'll throw in a line like, if you break that down, that's less than the price of a week's worth of Starbucks coffees to handle your dating life once and for all. To finally have that beautiful, amazing, loving girlfriend you've always wanted. The kind of girlfriend that when you walk into a room with her on your arm, your friends just stare at you with burning envy, okay? So these are all forms of price justification. And let me just give you one last one, which is also extremely important. What if I try it and I don't like it or it doesn't work for me? This is where you mention your refund policy. You should always have one, in my opinion, and you want to make it sound absolutely ironclad. No questions asked. Now, I sell my products on clickbank.com, which is an online marketplace for digital products, and ClickBank requires you to have a mandatory 60-day money-back guarantee. So you have no choice. You have to offer the 60-day money-back guarantee, and if the customer contacts ClickBank directly and asks for their money back, ClickBank refunds their money instantly, okay? Now, you might think you'd want to try to conceal this or kind of dance around it. You wouldn't want everyone to know you offer this instant automatic, no questions asked guarantee, but I do the opposite, okay? I don't bury it in the fine print in any way. As we go through the closing section of the script, the sales script, I remind them again and again about the refund policy. I want to make them know this offer is totally risk-free. Now, you might think that this will encourage customers to buy your product and then just instantly ask for a refund, but most people will not do that. That's the reality of this business. Most people deep down are honest, and if they know if they buy your course and don't even look at it and ask for a refund, that's dishonest behavior, and most humans are not wired that way. So by mentioning your refund policy again and again, you are alleviating a fear, you are countering an objection, and you will find that unless your product is total crap, and it should not be, your refund rate should be pretty low. And finally, I want to give you just a tip on structuring your sales messages and delivering your sales messages. I've talked a lot about VSLs, video sales letters, and I want to let you know this. Generally, if you are selling a product in a niche where the prospect really needs to see themselves in your shoes, if they really need to be able to relate to you and your struggle, I do not recommend that you put yourself on camera if you're going to record a sales video. If you're selling a course on how to play guitar in 30 days, and you're a good guitar player and you can speak decently on camera, sure, no problem. Go ahead, star in your sales video, show off your chops on the guitar, it's all good. But if you're selling a product like how to meet the man or the woman of your dreams, or weight loss, fitness, you want to be aware that your age and your appearance might cause a large segment of your prospects to not relate to you and to tune out. If you're selling a product on, how to meet women, for example, and the person starring in the sales video is 25 years old and extremely handsome and has a great physique, you may think that's the kind of guy that other men want to take dating advice from, but actually it can totally backfire. The reality is a lot of the guys watching this video are going to see that good-looking 25-year-old guy on camera, and they're going to think, well, that guy is a stud, obviously. Obviously, girls like a guy like that, so why would I want to get advice from him? That guy naturally gets women with his looks. On the other hand, if you show a guy who is too average looking, a guy who's short and dumpy looking, the average prospect might think, well, why would I take advice from this guy? This guy looks like a total chump. So you really can't win in a lot of cases. Instead, I would always suggest using an ugly VSL. And an ugly video sales letter means you're using PowerPoint slides, very similar to what you're seeing on screen right now. Just basic PowerPoint slides, maybe with some pictures here and there. But I'd be very cautious, however, about using a live presenter on camera. Years ago, I spent around $10,000 to record a very high-end video sales letter for the how to get your ex back niche. And I made the mistake of hiring a very attractive, youngish, blonde woman to deliver the presentation. Of course, I later realized that most of my customers were women who were quite a bit older. They've been divorced, they've got children, so they're seeing on the screen this very attractive 25-year-old, and they're thinking, well, that girl was never in my shoes. I mean, how can I relate to her? She doesn't know what I'm going through. I'm 48 years old, I got 3 kids, So the product bombed because of that video sales letter. Interestingly, I rewrote the video sales letter and made it an ugly VSL, and it converted like crazy. So I'm just saying, be very aware of this, and the same goes with weight loss and fitness products. When the presenter on camera is an incredibly lean, ripped, gorgeous-looking person, that may tune out, that may alienate a lot of your prospects. So in my experience, the ugly VSL is the way to go. Now, once the ugly VSL works and you know that your copy is working, then you may want to jazz it up a little. Then you may want to hire a good presenter who you feel is relatable and have them present the same script but on camera live, as a live person, and you may see a good lift in your conversion numbers, or you may not. But it has to start with a good ugly VSL where the copy is really firing on all cylinders. So that's all I have for right now. Again, I'm Rob Weiser, and you can find out more about me in my courses over at dayjobdestroyer.com. I'll talk to you soon.